Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley
And Will.
We haven't talked about games for a very long time. Not this year, I don't think, since we did our preview thing last time. So yeah, in terms of games we've actually been playing, I think the big one really is Kingdom Come Deliverance. And I've put about 10 hours in myself. Interestingly, there's been a bit of controversy about this game. Have you heard about this?
Are we starting on that bit?
You've heard about it then?
Oh, I've read a fair amount of it. I haven't been able to form much of an opinion other than the lead developer is clearly a twat. Now, whether his views on who was around at the time are correct or otherwise, I think that guy's still a bit of a dick regardless.
Yeah, there's been a bit of criticism about that, and also the fact that there aren't many people of colour in the game, which I don't think is... I don't know, some people have said, there were people of colour then, he said there weren't.
I've seen 13th Warrior, so there was at least one Spaniard who was meant to be like an Arab for 12 against 12 Vikings. So, if it's a 1 in 13 ratio, that seems about right.
Yeah. But the generals, his views have come off as a little bit chauvinist and stuff, and you can kind of feel that in the game to an extent with the various opportunities for dating, the fact that there's only a single male protagonist. I'm not going to moan about that really, because they've clearly got a story they want to tell, and I feel like you can kind of venture into the sort of realms of PC madness in a way if you tick all those boxes.
It's difficult. It's difficult. We all have to be accepting and cuddly in this day and age and apply our 21st century values back to the 1400s.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I don't know exactly what the historic makeup of what is currently Czech Republic was back then, sort of ethnic mix, so I don't feel qualified to comment. That's the trouble.
Yeah, apparently they did do their research, but I guess I don't know, that's the conclusion they came to.
We go on research. The NRA have done an awful lot of research, and other people don't agree with that, so research is fun.
Yeah.
But
the game's
welcome to the politics show, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's real shame, actually, that the game's kind of, just kicked that off. I mean, Polygon just haven't covered it at all, I think, for that reason.
I think it's a non-news thing. It's trending at the moment, which is why a lot of people have taken this story.
Is this on the same level as that girl in Little Mix getting dreads and being accused of cultural appropriation?
I don't know.
Well, I think it's a similar furore, but perhaps with actually some cause.
But the thing is, I've met white Rastafarians, and they have dreads. So where is that? That's not cultural appropriation. And what about sort of black people getting buzz cuts? That's military style, which is predominantly it gets really silly.
Yeah.
Because apparently, anyway, let's not even do that. It's a whole other show.
Cool. What do we think of the game?
Yeah.
I was just going to say quickly.
Oh!
I was just going to say, Polygon haven't covered it, but it's actually at the top of their homepage at the moment. But they haven't reviewed it yet.
Oh.
So, but anyway,
the Eurogamer review addresses those issues and
very much
doesn't
so
recommend it based on certain jankiness in the game. But I think mostly upon upon the basis of the lead developers' perspectives. And the sheer furore, if they were to put their name to recommend it, it's difficult. It's very difficult.
That's true.
Game.
Yeah. So far, I've really enjoyed it. You definitely can't. It definitely feels a little bit janky in places. I think that I fast travelled the other day, and the woman who you lives in the same place as you.
Should we perhaps take a step back for those people that might not be as familiar as we are with the game itself? We've gone into the racist developers and the janky fast travel, but should we take a little step back and say what the game is?
Sure, yeah. It was so yeah,
like
Daniel Favre and his team at Warhorse Studios basically about 10 years ago decided that they wanted to make this game, and so they sort of built a prototype. It took them a while to get the money to build the prototype, but about 4 years ago they had something to show.
That was the
and
Kickstarter,
so they created,
wasn't it?
Yeah, they did a Kickstarter. I'm not sure if it was Kickstarter.
It was Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I remember looking at it specifically, and if I was the sort of person that did ever put money into Kickstarter, it would have been this. But I don't.
Yeah, I think.
Actually, I did invest in a bottle opener, but that was a tenner. So, but moving on.
Yeah, I think it was a Kickstarter, but there was still the opportunity to kick in money after that had finished. So basically, they needed all the money they could, and they ended up getting a publisher, Deep Silver, involved as well,
that's
to
it.
get it onto the consoles and stuff.
Well, the original proposal was it was going to come out in chapters.
Yeah, that's
so it
right.
was, and with a stretch goal of a console release as well. And basically, so much got behind it, the hype picked up, and I think the quality of the game spoke for itself to an extent. The sheer sort of recreation of historical stuff. The publisher just went, hang on, let's just do this properly, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So you play this son of a blacksmith, and it's very story driven. Apparently, there's over 4 hours of cutscenes in the game, and I feel like I've really only just scratched the surface, and I've put 10 hours in now.
I must admit, I've only had an hour, which is terrible. But I'm really keen to finish talking to you bastards and get back on it.
Yeah, that first hour or so is quite a good cross section of what I've experienced so far. There's definitely like an emphasis on like just basic things like eating and being hygienic, which was sometimes a bit of a challenge back in those days. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of story-driven stuff. There's the voice acting's pretty good for the most part.
I had an issue with it in the very opening bit, the first narration before you even get to like hit new game. It to me sounded like it was being voiced over by Tory politician William Hague, and that educated slight Yorkshire twang. It's welcome to Bohemia. It was weird.
Yeah, there's a few US accents that show up as well, which is a bit odd. I was thinking for a second
in the 1400s.
Well,
sorry,
and they didn't have black people either. So even if it's not perhaps completely historically accurate, I think they've had to take license here and there. But I think overall it's definitely like the first game I've played probably since. I mean, Skyrim's the obvious one, but maybe Oblivion, since I just felt so kind of enveloped in another world. Like just like you really feel like you're kind of walking through the mud in this game, and I'm just in awe of it, really. Just looking around, seeing people going about their business, and all the little systems in the game I like as well. Like there's the speech system is based up of like multiple stats, like you have like chivalry and sort of like presents and stuff like that. You can haggle at the shops. Unfortunately, one issue I found, the lock picking mechanic is impossible at the moment on a controller.
Have you ever tried?
I haven't tried it with well, yeah, that's what I thought. But I honestly, every time I've done the tutorial, it's like you're supposed to get one thumbstick in a position, then move both of them round at the same time, and it's just so hard. It's like when you're rotating, it doesn't feel right. It's very annoying.
I'm playing mouse and keyboard, so I've not come across the lock mechanism quite yet. But it'll be interesting to compare notes and see which one is the better option.
Yeah, they're on the case with it apparently, and also with the save system, which at the moment, if you want to save anywhere, involves taking this. It's called Saviour Schnapps, and so it's like a limited quantity.
I must admit, the moment I had Saviour Schnapps, I had Scooby Snacks by the fun-loving criminals running through my head. But no, it's an interesting point, because as a gamer with urgent calls on my time, I can understand the ability to not save before a fight and all of that, but it should automatically snapshot the game exactly where it is if you need to just shut the machine down or turn the game off.
Yeah. Yeah, you can save at your bed as long as you save in the correct bed.
Yeah, but if I'm in the
and
middle
not
of a big
someone
scene,
else's...
I need to have to quickly run to bed. This is my issue.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. So, and like I've only really been playing the game when I've known I've had at least an hour to chuck at it because I know I will make some progress.
Yeah.
It does normally save you like after a mission or after you've done something or if you've leveled up, but it's random and so they're looking into it and yeah, so they're on the case and apparently there's going to be a big patch dropping like in the next week or so. They've already patched the game since there was a big day one patch. And they've done a like interim hot patch as well. So,
yeah, I had a small I had one downloaded this evening just before I started playing. But yeah, it'll be good to see it continuing to be supported, continuing to be refined. It's very common these days. A game starts off, they've got it out, they've got it to the schedule, they have to do it. But with many games like this, it's often better to dip in a few months after it's been out. The Witcher 3 improved no end as they tweaked the UI, as they made minor changes, and it's a great game. I think anyone who's well into their RPGs, sort of in the Skyrim side of things, and the Bethesda style first-person RPGs, I'd recommend they pick it up. But if you're not in a rush, wait. I think it'll be better in another month.
What systems are it on?
The usuals. PS4, PC, and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's proper multi-platform, which for a game that started off on Kickstarter, I seriously would recommend it, Marcus. I've from what I've played, the hour I've had in, I've suddenly was quite annoyed when it came to time to podcast because I had to turn it off and lose my progress on my save. But yeah, I'm fascinated. From the other thing, because so Marcus and I both, I don't think you get a chance to these days, both have done a bit of longsword training. The sword fighting and the use of the longswords in this game, to me, looks bang on. I have to say, it's very, very authentic looking. Obviously, you can only recreate it so well, but it feels good. So just for that, there's a wonderful scene right at the start. I don't think there's any spoilers here when you see your hero Henry working with his dad, the blacksmith, and forging a longsword for the local lord, and you watch how it's being made, and it's an education in a bit of blacksmithing. It's fantastic.
Nice.
This isn't just fantasy. I've done the dragon sword for the ages. But no, he's put together quite a nice sword. It's lovely.
Yeah, they actually did it all. They really did their research for this game, and they were doing video docs all the way up, like all the way through the development and up until crunch time. And like they because it was Kickstarter backers, obviously wanting to know the progress. So they did all that, and they took you out to the places that are in the game that they've built up, you know. There's a very elaborate codex as you get to different areas. It will explain like what that building used to be, who owned it, what happened to it, what it is now. So they've really gone to town with that. Yeah, the combat is really cool. You basically use one stick to choose the direction of your attack, and you unlock combos later on. There's a guy that trains you at the start. And then there's another guy.
I'm hoping there's someone better. I've not got there yet.
Yeah, there is, and he teaches you all these other things. Like you can start off your attack in one direction and then feint and adjust your angle. You can just move out of the way. You can take perks. All the skills in the game, the combat skills, all the skills have perks, and you only improve them by doing that activity. Same as Skyrim.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even in my short time of play, I noticed influences from The Witcher. I noticed influences from very much from the Elder Scrolls side, but also from Far Cry. So the way he traverses the landscape when you're hopping over fences and you see the camera look down and him hopping the legs over, the way you open a door and you see him reaching out to actually open that door. It feels very slick in the way Far Cry does. I'm seeing a lot of really good influences all going in to then create what feels like a really original game. I think it's quite exciting.
Yeah, it's definitely like got the whole like head cam thing going on when you're doing stuff. And some of the skills are hilarious. Like reading is one. Drinking is one. So you can get you can kit yourself out to deal with hangovers better, or
I must
be
admit,
able to
reading and
drink
drinking,
longer.
I'd love to know where my stats sit in that sort of context. With reading and drinking, I think I'm fairly strong. It's more the agility
99,
and sword play. Yeah.
I think that's where your affinity mostly go to. Every time you level up, it goes to the stats.
Interesting, because my understanding from the reviews I've read and stuff is you get to... Well, it is a true role-play game. If you want to be a stealthy, smooth talker, you can play that way. There are multiple ways around each mission. You don't always have to just go in and fight. You probably want to be handy with a sword, but it's not all about tanking. So I think that's could be fun.
No, I mean, like I say, I've played 10 hours now, and most of the combat has been... I've done it okay. I got slaughtered once, but I think that was the idea. You're supposed to.
So was that on the drinking skill?
No. I realised what I just walked into there. But the it's really good. I mean, the way you level up and stuff. That's how I play all RPGs anyway. So I feel it's just cool, just getting to make a decision on a perk every now and then, rather than agonising over what arbitrary way I want to level up my character.
Yeah.
I've always found it insane. I find it insane if you just get those arbitrary levels and you've spent your whole level just tanking stuff, and you end up investing in magic. What's the point of that?
Well, that's it. It was Fallout 3 I always had that issue with, for example, which was very much you shoot a load of people and you level up and you just put that skill into hacking. Whereas Elder Scrolls side was always you hack a load of stuff and you get better at hacking. It just makes sense. Practice makes perfect, and I think it's a cracking way to do progression, and I'm happy to see it appearing in more games.
Yeah, even when I play the pen and paper games, I tick the skills I've used, and when I level up, I level those up.
Oh,
anyway,
God, I wish I had time for that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I have actually. Just quickly, I've been DMing a Star Wars game. The last we've done 4 sessions now, or we're about to do our 4th session.
How long
I haven't DM'd about 3 hours. We played from 7. We played from 7 till 10:30, 11 on a Sunday night. Only just when we can do it, really, which normally it kind of averages out once every 2 weeks. Or we're doing 2 in a row this week, but I can't do next week, so it's that sort of thing. But no, I've quite enjoyed it so far. I had a little problem running combat. I kept forgetting to add soak, which is a number when you do damage. You can take the soak off, so each character's got a soak depending on how much armor and stuff they've got.
Right, yeah. So if someone does you 10 damage and you've got soak of 4, they've done you 6 damage, right?
Yeah, and basically they were remembering to deduct it themselves, but I wasn't. So they were just mincing through stuff. But I actually ran a combat encounter last session with one big monkey thing, and it was quite tough. And I managed to make the combat go for 3 rounds, so that's what you want ideally.
So
and,
taking this back to Kingdom Come, my understanding is I haven't got this far in. I've basically got a shitty shirt. My understanding is you've got layers of armour, and you can have a great helm, but it will restrict your vision. So you can put on this massive helmet, but if because it's first-person view, you put the big helmet on to get into a fight, and you can basically see through a letterbox, right?
I haven't got that far because those things are really expensive.
Right.
I've got about 30. Yeah, I've got about 30p, and they're like 10 quid or something.
Would it restrict your breathing as well? If you say you're running a long distance and then you whip up the visor and exclaim, "I can't breathe in this thing."
Well, I know the weight of the armour will affect things. Whether Christ, did you just quote Spaceballs, Marcus? Like it.
It's insidious. I totally missed that. No, I think heavy. I think the more encumbered you are, I think your stamina takes a hit. So yeah, I think it does.
Cool.
I think that is true.
So the other thing I like, going back, you were talking about the whole speechcraft skill. The other thing, again, this is about the reading, and I'm excited to see how it works. If you are dirty, peasants will treat you pretty similarly, but the nobility will look down upon you. It will decrease your persuasive skills, whereas if you are well-groomed and wearing high-quality clothing, they're going to treat you better. Yeah. So it's absolutely down to the quality of your kit and all sorts of other factors, which I think is really amazing. It's lovely to see this thought being put into it.
Oh, I've got a quick question. How is... I take it there's a character creation, or are you a
Nope,
particular character?
You are Henry. And
you are
Henry.
Henry.
Looks like
oh,
Henry.
Brilliant. So it is literally a narrative. That's all right. That's not bad.
To be honest, it's not a problem, because you can decide what kind of a person Henry is. You can decide if he's a bit of a rogue. Early on, right, and this within the first 20 minutes, you get to basically... Your dad sends you down into the village. This is your kind of like your training bits, even though it's not much hand-holding. And you go down there, and your dad said, go and get this sword hilt, get me some charcoal, and get me a bit of beer so that we can make this sword. And you meet your mates down there, and they're talking about this foreigner who's bad-mouthing the king. And you get the choice to buy your dad some beer and head back, or to throw poo at the foreigner's wall. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get the feeling you get to decide very much what kind of character you are. It's still role.
Yeah.
Henry is a black
from
canvas,
your actions, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing, yeah. Okay.
But he looks like a blacksmith's son, really. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. To be honest, I can get a little bit stuck in those character creators.
I love
poo at the wall.
They're my Achilles heel.
Of course, I threw poo at the wall.
I didn't. I'm a good person.
You didn't?
No, I got the.
Yeah, but he was.
I got beer. I went.
Yeah, but
See,
he was.
Will
throwing
saw
poo at the
beer,
wall was
beer
optional.
before-
I'm just not
yes.
that kind of person. I'm not an animal.
Basically, I tried to get the money off the guy.
Yeah.
He beat me up.
Oh, I beat him.
And then, so I went to the pub, met up with my mates, and then I was given the option. They said they would help me if I did the poo throwing. So then, after the poo throwing, we went back to the geezer and we duffed him up, 4 of us.
Right.
And then I took the bits off him I needed that my father had provided him with. Took it and then was able to use that to buy the charcoal.
It's funny,
So
my story came out. I decided to fight the drunkard, and I pummeled him to the ground eventually. Second time I attempted it.
I just couldn't do it.
Oh,
I think I just
there's a little trick.
get
Basically,
too.
you pull back, you let your stamina build up, and you're fine. And it took
Right.
me about 5 minutes to beat him. Anyway, but
Yeah.
in my little world, I'm the clean-cut, all-American boy. My dad's told me to do a job. I've done the job. I've bought him some beer, chatted up the bar wench, gone back, and we've made a sword. There was no throwing poo at foreigners' walls.
So
Oh well, that's
basically, you're both the polar opposite versions of Arnold J. Rimmer. Will's version is Ace Rimmer, and Rob,
Pretty
you're
much.
Arnold Judas Rimmer.
Smoke me a kipper.
And I tell you what, a couple of times. I mean, I've knocked a guy out to get his uniform. I've stolen things to get to get buy things I need.
Yeah.
Are we still talking about the game? Sorry.
We are, yeah.
Right, checking.
But the thing is, the game is as open world as it is. At least initially, it kind of puts you in these little kind of cross sections of the game, these little mini microcosms of it, and you do find yourself playing it a bit more like an immersive sim, where you're sort of pushing against the game to see what you can do, and it does generally kind of respond in most ways. I don't know if that's just because it's trying to make a good impression. I don't know how well that holds up later on, but
I
it's
think
really
we
good.
should reconvene in a few weeks' time once we've had a chance to crack it through properly. I think it would be really interesting to compare notes on that. And Marcus, it'd be
Sounds cool.
interesting.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah,
I can let you know what the Xbox version's like. How rope-a-dope that is.
I've got a feeling. It's. Oh no, I've heard there's like a little bit of slowdown, few bits of issues, but once again, I've got a feeling if you wait the compulsory month or so, you'll get the price
you'll get the
drop and B,
patches
the
out and everything. Yeah.
Exactly that. So
Basically
I
treat
think-
it like Unity.
Yeah, my understanding is the console versions, both Xbox and PlayStation 4, regardless of its X Pro or standard, are not perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was Warhorse themselves that then did the port or whether they got someone else in, but PC is running acceptably for me. I haven't got it as a good a resolution as I'd like to play at 60 frames a second, but that's because my PC is probably in need of a little bit of an update. But it's satisfactory.
Yeah.
I've got it running at high 1080p that's about the best I could get really, and I'm getting like 40 frames or something. I couldn't get 60.
Most
really.
consoles tend to lock it at 30, don't they?
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
I
can
think
play
a
those
locked
games.
30 would be absolutely fine. Absolutely, it's if it stays at 30 is your trick. But the best thing to do is I think for those that don't know, your best bet is to go to Eurogamer, check their Digital Foundry, because they did an article on the performance PC versus consoles, and that's probably the place to look.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it runs okay for me. Normally, if I can't quite achieve 60 frames, I just play with a controller. That sort of eliminates it a bit, really. I trick myself into thinking I'm playing on console. So
I'm so used to console that, frankly, 30 frames a second is fine to me on a PC.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. It's once you've played loads at 60, that's when the issues come up. Just quickly going back to, since this is like a gaming podcast, you mentioned you were doing a bit of board gaming sort of thing, Star Wars style. A couple of mates of mine ran a sort of a gaming session, a board gaming session at a local college, and I played a game called Zombicide.
Oh, right.
Which was pretty damn good. I'm actually thinking of getting this game and possibly starting it up. So I don't know if you're interested at one time. See if we get John involved. Basically, it's a street setting. I think it's like the base one has like a 6x9, I'm not sure, size sort of thing, or maybe a 3x3 board area. And you basically choose characters, and each turn, zombies get added onto the board. And you've got like actions and skills. You've got 3 actions per thing, and every zombie you kill, the kilometer goes up. And when it goes into yellow, you get an extra action, but the number of zombies that come onto the board. So eventually you end up with like a whole horde of zombies. And you've got various
like
classes.
A horde mode.
Yeah, it turns into a horde mode the longer it goes on, and the more you kill. We did win the first game, but we were damn lucky. We avoided the abomination, which can only die from Molotov. And there are a couple of like runner zombies as well, and there are like the really large, bulkier ones as well. And it seems like a really fun game. I'm not a massive board game player, but I had a great time sort of playing this, setting it up. And they're fairly quick games. They were fairly quick games.
Board games, really, doesn't it? I'm sitting in my shed, and in front of me I can see Monopoly and Dingbats and Scattergrees. And
I've got like Scrabble and War and Terror behind me as well, and stuff like that.
So is that
you got War on Terror as well?
Yeah.
Oh, one day I'll play
everyone
that.
did after the IT crowd.
Is that Zombicide the one where you like lay the tiles?
Yes, yeah.
As you go, so you're going from point A to B.
You can go in and search and stuff and everything else, and you get weapons as well to defeat the zombies, and weapons to open doors and stuff like that. But yeah, it seems pretty cool. We'll have to have a look and see.
Yeah, the other zombie one that I've played a bit is Dead of Winter.
I heard about that.
Yeah, John's got it, and that's where you've got a board, and you've basically got like a stronghold, and these various areas that you can kind of go to salvage supplies, and everyone has like their own victory conditions, some of which may be to betray everyone else. so
that's a bit more like The Walking Dead sort of thing.
Yeah.
All right,
it's pretty cool though.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think this is straightforward. You against them, and then you've got various other spin-off campaigns like everything else. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty easy to get into, considering I hadn't played a board game in God knows how long. Not since we played the Game of Thrones one years ago.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. That is.
So on the undead games subject, that moves us nicely on. Have either of you guys heard of Vampire?
I've heard of it.
So this is by the guys that did, I think it was Remember Me and, oh, Jesus Christ, the other one. Don't Nod is the studio.
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange, thank you. Yeah, I think those are the only 2 games they've done. But they've come out with a game that I've been reading about recently that sounds exceptionally interesting. It's out in the summer. I think it's July-ish.
Yeah.
But so you come into this, you kind of wake up, you're a doctor, treating Spanish flu in 1918 or so, I mean, Spanish flu killed millions. I think it was 50 million or so people. And you're this doctor in London treating a hospital full of flu victims, trying to get them better. But you're a vampire. And you need to feed. And to feed, you want to feed from healthy people. So you've kind of got this whole... you need to make people feel better so that you get better quality chow out of them. But at the same time, you need to eat people. And I think this is potentially one to keep an eye on. It's a bit. There's a brawling element to it, bit of a beat 'em up, third person kind of style, I think. It is an RPG. Apparently, I don't know. Again, what is an RPG? Refer to previous episodes. But it's kind of action RPG, but with a heavy moral scale because you've almost got. I think there's something like 100 non-player characters that are filled out in depth, and then a load of people just to kill and beat up. And it's set around London and the hospital and the various hideouts you've got. But that sounds like a very interesting one to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, I mean, it's ticking all the boxes for me, and I love a bit of vampire-y stuff.
Yeah,
I love the
not
old
been a good vampire game in ages.
No, not since Bloodlines. Have you ever played that?
I briefly dabbled, but yes, I vaguely recall. I don't think I ever got into it, but I don't know why.
That actually was the first game to use the Source engine that Half-Life 2 used. It actually came out a little bit before Half-Life 2 because I think Half-Life 2 got a little bit delayed. And it was great. It was based on the Vampire the Masquerade White Wolf game, like pen and paper game.
Yeah.
So there was all the different vampire classes. So you have your Nosferatus and your Bruges and your Malkavians. And what was so great about it was if you played a Malkavian, they're like the vampire cast that's sort of mad. So all the dialogue options were completely mental. And it had a really cool, like very nicely paced, sort of first person vibe going on, similar to like Deus Ex and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But by the end, I was in third person with a fucking big axe, just cleaving my way through dudes. And I don't know what that. I think people laugh when I ever say that.
Fallout?
Well, yeah, people laugh when I mention this, but. Honestly, it's just required in the game because there's just so much shit coming at you. And axes don't need ammo.
True.
So, that's that.
There's some sort of campaign slogan in that statement, I'm sure.
Axes don't need ammo. Well, at least we know how to spot you in post-apocalyptic world. You'll just be the one with the great big fucking axe.
Yeah, covered in blood, yeah. Well, as we're sort of freewheeling a bit, just wanted to mention a couple of other bits of news. Just some delays, and I'm sorry to say I told you so, but Anthem has been delayed into 2019.
I never expected otherwise, to be honest.
No,
it was a tech demo at E3. It looked amazing, but it was a tech demo.
Yeah, I mean EA needed something because the lead time on their games is just so long. Unless it's an annualized franchise.
Yeah. Well, the EA games challenge everything, including release dates.
And deadlines.
And gamers' patience.
And ethics.
Yeah, that's right. And Red Dead Redemption 2's been delayed into October as well. So I don't mind really.
But we're getting Far Cry 5 soon, aren't we?
Yeah, that comes out at Easter.
I've heard surprisingly little about it recently. I've not seen any previews, not really heard anything.
Maybe
it's because they announced it. They just announced it so long ago that they did all their press up front then, and now we have to wait ages for it. Don't worry, the marketing will kick in soon, and we won't be able to move for it.
That's true. I'll be getting that on PS4. I think I feel Far Cry is better suited. I don't know, maybe it's better on a PC, but I'll be getting it on PS4. So if you go for that, Rob, I'll co-op with you.
Cool. Yeah, I played Far Cry 3 on Xbox, I think, but I played 4 on PC. It depends how I'm feeling by then. Like, because I don't know, I reckon I'll probably be done with Deliverance by then. I hope so. But I've got quite a few other games on the go. I'll just mention
When you say
Subnautica.
Deliverance, sorry, you can't just call it Deliverance because I'm instantly going dueling banjos. By the way,
Yeah, well, I go to the Corrosion of Conformity album.
you
so,
got a pretty
that's...
mouth.
Yeah, no, I've been playing a bunch of stuff. I haven't talked about any of the stuff I played over Christmas, and I won't go into horrendous detail on any of it. But
please.
But yeah, a few highlights. Subnautica, I ended up getting, finally came out of early access. It seems like this is the year when a lot of these games come out of early access. Rust has just hit version 1, and I think The Forest is going to come out in April with a version 1. But yeah, this is one of those tree punching games, and by that I mean it's a crafting game. And so I was a little bit miffed by it, to be honest, because you're just plopped into this like big aquatic world. It works with the Rift. I had difficulty playing it with the Rift though, because there's kind of a lot to absorb, and that's really not what you need when you're sort of
right. So
fully
it works with the Rift, but it's not very nice.
I think it would be nice, like maybe if I tried it again now that I kind of know how the game works. But it's essentially I've not played one of these games before, but the way that they work is that it's all about the crafting. You're gated by what you can build,
I get
and
bored
so
of that
you're kind
sort of thing. I've done a few of those. I just get bored.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And I was it took a while for it to get its hooks into me. And to be honest, I wouldn't say I'm fully overwhelmed by it, but I have played quite a few hours of it now. And I have seen some things that I was not expecting to see, and I was not really guided towards, especially.
Sorry,
you know,
for some reason I had this mental image of things you weren't expecting to see, but quite frankly, I can't share that.
Family show, sort of. But the way that if you're willing to persevere with like the basic mechanic, you do get like radio broadcasts sometimes that kind of give you a waypoint to go to, and like you gradually figure out ways, like you can build subs and bases and stuff in this. And it does look really beautiful. Like it's basically you're kind of ever tempted to get deeper and deeper, but unfortunately you're kind of limited by how long your oxygen will last and how quickly you can get down there. I mean, I've gone down really deep into some
all underwater.
Yeah. Oh, not well. Yeah, most of it. I don't want to spoil
salvaging
anything.
Bits and pieces and.
Yeah, you go around and you salvage stuff and then you build stuff with it. You have to make sure you've got enough water. You have to make sure you've got stuff to eat. But you can create like these pipelines so that you have like these sort of temporary places to get oxygen from, like deeper down. But as you get deeper and deeper, you you find these new biomes that look completely different, that have different creatures in them. Some of these creatures are bear moths, like they're massive tentacle things that are actually almost like land masses themselves. Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna play it some more. I'm gonna play it some more in VR too, and we'll see how I get on.
Awesome.
I recently played. Sorry, from my side, Shadow of War, and I found it interesting. I think you had the same experience. Did you buy any loot boxes on Shadow of War, Rob?
No, I didn't at all.
No.
I mean,
the game. Needed to?
Not really. No.
No, not at all.
You can buy some stuff. I mean, it tries to hook you into that by giving you this sort of
freebies. Yeah, a couple of freebies and see what lovely stuff there is.
Yeah, but there are like loot boxes that you can buy with the in-game currency that you use, and I mean, you kind of have to do that to sort of resupply your ranks after a particularly grisly battle.
I played it on hard, but I never really had any issues at all. But maybe it's the methodical approach I take, but my ranks never got thinned.
Well, I mean, I didn't really do it much. It was. Did you do like the Shadow Wars stuff at the end?
No, I couldn't see the point in it. I started out, so I completed the game. without spoiling it, the special ending happened where the thing happens, and things change a bit, and then it's like, oh, and suddenly defend it, and I kind of thought, no, I've completed the game now. Screw you.
See,
to that point, and I think that's fine. I can't. The end game, or what it refers to as the end game, the bit where it just carries on. I've done enough of this now. I played it a little bit, and I thought I'm going to do something else.
Yeah, it did try my patience. Had I not had such an extended Christmas break, I probably would have dumped it myself.
What do you call it? Pile of shame. I would have expected you to kind of go, right, I've done that. I've completed the game. I know it's just padding my time. I've got better things to do.
I know I should have done really, but to be honest, it basically took me another probably 15, 20 hours to get through that Shadow Wars thing.
Yeah,
because basically what it does is
you
just rinse and repeat like this. you defend your castles. If you lose the castle, you take it back again.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next round. Rinse and repeat. And that's when the loot boxes actually start coming into it, because that's when all your ranks get thinned, and you have to then go into the system, go into the shop, just buy it with in-game currency, and then just swell your ranks.
Basically, the game itself is enjoyable. When you complete the game, stop, and then you won't need to spend money. I think it's all. Unless you've got a lot of patience, I wouldn't bother with the Shadow Wars stuff. It ended up souring the game for me, to be honest. Yeah.
Because all you're doing in that really is it's like a war of attrition. You're just running around, making sure that your guys stay up, and just like waiting for their thing to drop so that you can dominate them. And it just becomes that at the end, and you don't really have time to do any cool moves. You're just jumping about, evading all the time, and it's just like a mad, crazy mosh.
I mean, I platinumed Shadow of Mordor. I looked at what else I needed to do to platinum Shadow of War, and it was all about doing this special thing to a level 47 one of those, and a level. It got massively complex. I would say it was at least twice as hard to platinum Shadow of War, but for no good reason. And again, that feels like player exploitation. So I bought the game.
It's just to increase the longevity.
Yeah, exactly. I bought the game. I did not invest in the loot boxes, not a single penny. Got the game at a fairly reasonable price, and got a good amount of enjoyment out of it. Happy there, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't really been playing anything much. I've still been playing Zelda. To be honest, this game surprises me. It's not going to win any awards for its graphics, but when you're playing it, you just get pulled into the world.
It's won plenty of awards.
The mechanics behind it are insane. Basically, it's got a weather system, and me and Suze we play it on our own separate files. But we've been playing it for a while, and then suddenly this thunderstorm rolled in, and we thought we'd triggered some special event, because when she was playing it at the time, she was on a raft, and we'd never seen it lightning and proper like lightning strikes, taking out trees in your environment and everything else. Occasionally it would strike like some of the enemy characters or near the NPCs, and they would react to it as well. And it's just really weird and it's like, one of the main things, as always with Zelda games, is like a stamina bar, which you can use for attacks and stuff like that. But you can use it for climbing. So you can literally sort of like go Mission Impossible 2, climbing under a rock, climbing up to the highest mountain point. And you kind of have to do this to get certain things to help boost your hearts and increase your weapon slots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just found with things like the thunderstorm, your weapons, your combat is affected by it, because obviously you can't hold steel weapons. So anything steel in your inventory, you can't have equipped. Or midway through your combat, you're going to get struck by a massive thunderbolt, and you see it building up. You see like the charge, your sword starts to spark, or your shield, and it starts to spark, and when it's really sparking, you've got literally just seconds to either de-equip it, or, which I did in one case, throw my sword at an enemy sort of it's this giant iguana guard. I threw my sword at it, because you can actually lob your weapons. I threw my sword at it, the sword hit him, and the thunderbolt hit him at that point. and it killed him.
But I take it the thunderstorm is a rare event, right?
No, it's a weather event. So you've got like there's a rotating sort of icons on the bottom, and it tells you what the weather's going to be. And apparently thunderstorms can just happen, like real weather. So you could be, and if it's wet and thunderstorming, you can't climb because obviously all the surfaces are loose and stuff and slippery. Yeah. So if you're part way up a mountain and it starts to rain, fucking get down or get up. Yeah, it really does.
Oh, that's quite cool.
It's surprising because we're playing it and I just can't believe it. And there are these flying huge dragons, and basically we're left to figure all this shit out.
Yeah.
Literally, we crossed this massive bridge. When I say massive, this thing is huge, and just randomly climbed up to one of the sort of tower points, almost like the Great Wall of China style bridge. With massive towers. We climbed up there, and there's this great big dragon flying around, like a sort of falcor Chinese dragon. And then we went to another part of the land, and there's a fire one. So we found a fire one and a lightning one. It's got nothing to do with the main story, but we're just like, what the hell's that? And then it's just like, we're literally just exploring the hell out of this land. Some bits are fucking, you're stuck somewhere, and you're like, oh god, you climb up. You basically, the whole idea is a little bit, maybe it's tongue in cheek, it's like poking at Assassin's Creed, but the idea is that you find these towers and you get to them and you activate them, and they give you more of the map. So it's almost pretty much like that in Assassin's Creed, almost a bit tongue in cheek. But you can glide from them to various points, and you can fly and stuff like that to some extent. But yeah, I am gobsmacked at the amount of stuff in this game. Yeah. And the fact that normally in a game, when you get weapons, those are your weapons. And when your weapon durability is low, you go and get it repaired. In this game, weapons are expendable.
Do you not have hit with the Master Sword, for example?
I don't know. Susie's only just got it. But
is it going to die? Is it?
You've got weapons.
As disposable as everything else?
I don't know if it's got a durability element or something, or maybe it gets weakened and you have to take it back.
Yeah.
But you start off on this plateau and you've got the Temple of Time, and it's all ruined. It's all like post-apocalyptic. Everything's overgrown, and it's been 100 years since this calamity's devastated the land.
Yeah.
So then you literally have to go and fulfill quests to basically get the means to get down from this large area of landmass that you can't otherwise get down. And that's when the game opens up. And there are literally mountains you can go and climb. You can tame horses, add them to your stable. And you actually have to go and tame them. They're all wild. There's none of this, I'm going to go to a place and get a horse from doing a quest. Yeah.
Yeah,
you can throw poo at the wall. No, you can't. But
I say so. I bought the Switch
I'm
just before
considering
Christmas.
it is probably one of the most interesting Zelda games I've played for a while. Simply because it does have the whole Zelda dungeon thing. You've got these shrines where you can go and get sort of orbs and stuff to improve your stats. You can buy various different costumes. Her version of Link is running around like a ninja. He's got his hair tied up in like two little chopsticks, and he's got this slick little bodysuit on, running around. And you've got all of these weapons, and you get some really amazing ones, but you know that if you use them too much, their durability goes and the weapon shatters. So it's almost a bit like Metal Gear Solid on-site procurement. Everything you could pick up, you can kill a goblin, grab its club, grab its shield, and then carry that for a while.
Isn't that annoying?
It is annoying at first, but you quickly realise that's part of the survival, and you learn the tier of enemies. So you've got just enough weapon slots so that if you got like a higher up weapon, you don't use it on something shit like a bat that's only got one hit point. And I think because it will dig into its dexterity.
One of the zombie games I played, can't remember the name of it, had a similar thing though. You got these weapons and you could enhance those weapons. But each weapon had a level of durability to it, so you only enhanced the ones that would last a while with high damage.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing, right?
Well, that's the thing. It's and you get various special. It sounds really weird, but I've not played any RPG like that where everything is, almost don't get attached to a weapon per se. You can't. You can do, but you can keep it on your person. But you kind of save the really high power ones for bosses because you know there are going to be bosses.
That's it.
And higher up level monsters. So you kind of almost keeping just crappier ones equipped for dealing with a riffraff, and then you whip out your great sword or whatever and take them out. And also the weapons have got different weights.
Whip it out.
So you've got a double-end sword, or a double-handle sword, and it takes longer to swing. So, and if you're too slow, some of the larger enemies can actually just beat you to the swing and just like knock you for 6. And some of them will just kill you in one blow, and you're like, God, and you realise they've got like a, spiked dragon bone club, and you go, fucking hell. And then you meet different tiers, and as you go up in levels, you meet higher versions of the enemies. So you got like various weird little pig goblins, and you're like, oh, these are easy to kill.
Changing the
then
colour
you meet
palette,
the blue
though.
ones. Yeah,
they are
blue
just changing
ones.
the colour palette, right?
It is colour palette, yeah.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's been happening since
But
I
there's
played arcade games in the early
there's enough
80s.
variety of enemies though as well. You've got literally there's one enemy, and it's like it's a rock, and you think, oh, it looks like there's something interesting there,
At least
and it
it's
just
not the
rises out
rock.
of the ground. It rises out of the ground, and it's this massive golem rock that you have to battle. And it's throwing boulders at you and everything, and there are like giant creatures as well that kind of come up and stuff, and you have to fight with them. And there's like loads of mysteries and subquests and stuff, but they seem interesting. Some are mildly annoying, but some you complete on a whim. But yeah, it's considering I just thought, oh, it'd be quite fun. It's Zelda. I'm amazed at how much I'm enjoying it as well, and I have been playing it, not just watching it.
Awful lot of journalistic.
But I can see why, because I'm not looking with blinkers on or anything like that. It's not like a certain other game that I'll be crazily invested in.
Like Kingdom Come.
Sort of like yeah, but also delayed. But yeah, I'm just absolutely gobsmacked at how crazy it can be, and the archery element of it. You literally have a bow, and you can arc your arrows. If you literally put 45 degrees to the sky. I mean, I do a bit of archery with a mate of ours, and
I love this episode. Right, we've done a bit of longsword. We do a bit of archery. Now, by the way, we're basically medieval.
But it's crazy because the physics apply. You literally can arc your arrows further distance. It's not like where you aim like straight on and they act like a sniper rifle, because if you do that over the distance, it just drops short.
Yeah.
So you have to literally shoot them into the sky and hope that that's the distance. So you use a normal arrow as a rangefinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. You use a normal arrow as a rangefinder, and then you strap a bomb arrow, and then you launch that and take them out. Because the first arrow, they kind of go, huh, what the hell's that? And then whilst they're looking around, you go, right, that was right on them. Thump. And you've got like lightning arrows and flame arrows and stuff like that. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
So you're enjoying yourself on this, right?
Me?
What?
You're enjoying yourself with Zelda, yes?
Yes. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If you have a Switch or a Wii U, and you haven't got this game,
I've recently invested in the Switch.
recommend it.
My difficulty with the Switch is Zelda is still full price, and I've got a feeling, because what Nintendo rarely ever do is cut their prices.
Yeah, no, they never do.
The thing is, I cannot bring myself to part £60 with any game whatsoever.
No.
£50 I struggle at.
Well, I got mine through Argos, and it was a lot cheaper.
£30 is my sweet price.
I got Zelda on the Wii U. Zelda for the Wii U is
Wii U,
about
you're fine.
40. No, but it's still around 40. It was still around 40, 50 quid.
Yeah.
For the Wii U, because it was brand new. I got it from Argos for under 20.
Oh,
brand new.
Yeah, it's still 40 quid for Wii U.
But I got it for about, I think I got it for $14.99. From Argos, so it's worth looking around.
Argos are doing,
you might find
Argos
somewhere.
are doing the Switch version at 50 at the moment. So when it drops,
I think you might be getting new console markup sort of thing there going on.
When it drops in about 3 or 4 years' time, I'm going to have to take
and it will still be a fun game then, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
it'll still be a fun game.
I'm pretty sure I heard that they'd sold more copies of the Switch version of Breath of the Wild than they had sold Switches.
Bloody hell.
I think people just bought the game and couldn't get the console because the console was sold out.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you don't I think it's a bit of an edge case if
Either
you
that or
own a
people have
Switch
been
and don't
shoplifting
own
the
that.
fuck out of the Switch.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, that's my ramble over.
I think we can leave it there. All I was going to say, Will, was you said about my pile of shame.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really got one anymore.
Oh, well
because
done you.
I pretty much, well, I've got a few still, but I'm battling my way through Alien Isolation at the moment. Finally,
Nice.
and other than that,
Lights on or lights off?
oh yeah, like I'm playing the Beach Boys in the background.
Bit of fluff.
Just bit of full daylight. Yeah, and still I can only play it for an hour because it, it's just hiding under tables and stuff. And,
Creepy as fuck.
yeah, it's great though. It's really well made. Something about it compels me to continue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but
You're in your own space horror. That's what it is.
That's it. Yeah. I've got The Long Dark, Soma, and Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Blacklist. They're the only games that I haven't started yet in my Steam library.
Nice. Quick shout outs because I bought the Nintendo Switch tail end of last year. Skyrim.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Yeah, might have.
I basically have pretty much finished the main mission. I will admit I have done 200 hours plus on Skyrim prior to this, but no, I still bought Skyrim just so I could play it while I was commuting, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. The port is great. The Link sword that you find, pointless. The whole Nintendo goodies, pointless, but the game is amazing to be able to play on your commute. That's good. But the other one is the Rabbids versus Mario, whatever it is. Mario versus Rabbids. Yeah, actually really surprisingly deep. So I'm quite enjoying that. Dipping in and out.
Nice.
Lots of fun to be had. And actually, Ubisoft Rabbids, have either of you guys played any of the Rabbid games before?
Yeah, I've heard about it, yeah.
Never.
No, you see, because I had the original
It's a spin-off from the Rayman universe, isn't it, I think?
Sort of, but they did the Rabbids. They did a couple of Rabbids party games on the original Wii, so I grew fond of them then. But it's genuinely amusing, genuinely fun. Works far better than any description of it would make you expect to. So plenty going on the Switch, and when the top games come to a reasonable price, I'll give them a punt. But at the moment, Switch is prohibitively expensive in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on getting one for Dark Souls, presuming, of course, by then I've moved.
Yeah.
And have something to sleep on and somewhere to sit, and maybe even a TV to watch as well.
Useful things in life, things to aspire to.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right then. Before this becomes the Not Moving podcast, I guess we'll call it there.
This has been the Not Playing podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about movies and TV on the Not Watching podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening podcast. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
There's a stripper with no booty. My friend, I'm inclined to agree, 'cause I suck. You suck. I suck at